What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about, should the LA Lakers be worried about the Denver Nuggets? So let's see what they have to say about that.
NBA superstar, you know who it is. Jokic, the Joker, and his Nuggets.
They got the Joker at number 10. Okay, I can run with that.
And his teammate Jamal Murray led Denver to the West Finals last season before falling to the champs in the bubble. Max, you're up first. Do you think the Lakers should be worried about the Nuggets?
Potentially. Look, Jokic was balling out of control in the playoffs. This dude can get you into your offense as a center. Forget about, his passing ability is absurd at his size. And he was doing things to other bigs where it was like, this dude's on a different level, until he ran into Anthony Davis. Now, the Lakers' big two is more than a match for the Nuggets' big two, right? LeBron and AD are better than Jamal Murray and Jokic. However, a couple things happened in the offseason. The Lakers lost Rondo. You say, in the regular season it doesn't matter, and that's true. But in
You call him playoff Rondo, okay?
the playoffs, he's an all-star. Rondo's an all-star. Take an all-star off and hope that Schroeder can be that all-star in the playoffs. But even if it's an upgrade in the regular season, you're not sure about that. You don't know if Schroeder can do a Rondo in the playoffs. The playoffs are, Rondo knows all the plays. That's why he's so good in the playoffs. Like another coach in the, playoffs is coach's time, right? That's Rondo time. We'll see if Schroeder can replicate that when it matters most. But more importantly for the Nuggets guys are two things. One, Jamal Murray's still getting better. It's a scary proposition, but we saw him go from like a nice all-star player to an MVP caliber player in the playoffs. The dude is 22 years old. He's 23 this year? I mean, there's a good chance that he continues to get better. So now think about Jamal Murray, but even better. Hard to imagine, right? But I think it's likely to happen. And then there's Porter Jr.
So I agree with that too.
It's one thing to have a big two. How many teams legitimately have a big three? If Porter Jr. continues to develop, and there's no reason to think based on his age he won't. He's not a defender, but he can score the ball. That makes the Nuggets live against anyone, even the Lakers.
So I kind of have to agree with Max here, except I would rephrase my answer. So I wouldn't say that the LA Lakers should be worried about the Denver Nuggets. I would say that they should respect the Denver Nuggets game. I'll say that again. I think the LA Lakers should respect the Denver Nuggets game because those boys can ball too. And if they don't respect that game, they can get beat down like the Clippers did last year in the playoffs. So, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, and the Joker can definitely take care of business. I will respect their game if I was the Lakers.
Your opinion is it depends? They were just in the Western Conference
Got to see how
Finals.
Porter develops.
Make a decision. What do you mean it depends? You watched them. You saw them in the playoffs.
Well,
you saw what Jamal Murray did. You saw what Jokic do. Will Barton's coming back. Is there a decision?
Yeah, here's the decision, Stephen A. We're all taking the Lakers. The question is, who's a threat? Can they be a threat?
Right.
The answer is yes. They can threaten the Lakers.
Thank you. So the answer is yes. It's
They're
not
a
it
threat.
depends. It's yes. Okay. Yes. They're a threat. I don't believe
If Porter
they're
Jr.
as big of a
doesn't
threat as
develop, then the
Clippers.
answer is no.
You know what, KP? Go
Max
ahead.
all
I'm already
over the
annoyed with
place.
Max. I'm already annoyed with Max. Go
just
ahead,
saying,
Kendrick. Just go ahead.
He all
man.
over the place.
There are
He all
variables.
over the place. But
All over the
no,
place.
but
all
Max,
over the place.
I'm in one
you
place,
all
you
over the place.
simpletons.
I didn't.
Oh, I got that, Max. He called him. I'm in one place, you simpletons. I definitely caught that, Max. That was kind of like a quick jab right there. That it got very quiet after you said it.
No, but you didn't answer the question. So
We listened
I'ma
to you,
answer
Max.
the
We
question.
heard you.
Are the Denver Nuggets a threat?
And Max is probably thinking, what are you going to do about it, Stephen A. Smith? Because I would not doubt that Max Kellerman has those hands. His favorite sport is boxing. I would find it hard to believe that he likes boxing so much as his favorite sport, but he doesn't know how to throw those hands. So I would be very careful, Stephen A. Smith, if you want to have a talk with him out back.
To the Lakers in the West? Hell no. Because look, even if the Lakers and the Nuggets were to match up in the playoffs, right? And in a perfect world, Jamal Murray and Jokic play great basketball. Anthony Davis and LeBron James play great basketball, and they wash each other out. let's talk about the others. And Max, I heard you talk about Michael Porter Jr., right? Yeah, he could score. He's a walking bucket, but he can't guard a parked car. And he's a liability on the defensive end. So the 20 points that he's giving you on the offensive end, he's giving up 30 to 35 on the defensive end because they're picking on him every single time down the basketball court. Now, when you look at the
But see, that's going to be something he's going to have to work on, like Max Kellerman said. He's definitely has some things he needs to work on, but he can definitely put some points up on the board.
Lakers, add Dennis Schroeder, add Montrezl Harrell. Yes, sometimes I wonder what the hell Kyle Kuzma is doing at times. Other times he could be great. KCP, who stepped his game up tremendously. Add Marc Gasol. And then now you have a 20-year-old stud who has been playing exceptional basketball and Taylor Horton Tucker, who's down there balling his tail off. Look, the Denver Nuggets lost in the offseason by not signing back Jeremy Grant. I thought that was a huge loss for them. He was the only guy, in my opinion, that could match up with LeBron James in some type of way of containing him. And when they lost him, a guy that's 6'10", long, athletic, able to keep LeBron in front of him and challenge him at the basket. Although LeBron did dominate that series, he still was the only guy that could really match up with LeBron to somewhat try to slow him down. So when I look at the Denver Nuggets others, you look at Gary Harris, you look at Will Barton, both of those guys could play. But are they better than the Lakers role players? And the answer is hell no, Max. Hell no.
So I would say no in that fashion. But like I said, the Lakers definitely better respect the Denver Nuggets. Would I bet money that the Lakers would win? Yeah, I would. I would definitely bet money that the Lakers would win. But it's not too far off that they could sleep on the Nuggets and wind up like the Clippers did last year in the playoffs and get absolutely smoked.
Well, to answer the question directly, I agree with you, Kendrick Perkins. My answer is no for one simple reason, far more simpler than everything you just articulated. And that is Jokic is such a key. And the one person capable of neutralizing anything he throws at you is Anthony Davis. Because Anthony Davis is on the Lakers, that is the nightmare for the Denver Nuggets who rely so heavily on Jokic. If it was somebody other than just Jamal Murray, even though Barton and all of those brothers could play, if Jokic wasn't that pivotal to their success, I would feel differently. But because he is, that's why I don't consider them the threat even that the Clippers are.
Look, Porter Jr., let me get back to Porter Jr. for a second. You're really like going past that pretty fast, Perk. His development, of course, it depends. He's 21 years old. He's coming off a back problem. That's the reason he went as low as he did, or he'd been higher up in the draft, right? So he misses the season, his rookie season because of a back injury. He comes back last year. He doesn't get a lot of touches, but when he touches the ball, you just said, he's a bucket, right? Now, you say he can't defend. A lot of guys come into the league, they can't defend. And after a while, they can. Especially, you bring up Taylor Horton Tucker, who is, if that dude, I mean, he looks like he's for real to me. I know it's early in the preseason. He's 20 years old. I think there's reason to believe that you're right. And if he's really a baller, forget it. Why are we even talking about this season? Lakers are going to kill everybody, right? But